on camera. Just to be clear, you didn't do it.
We know who did it, Steve. We know. And we know who spearheaded this cover-up. You all know.
Yes, we do.
If John was beaten up and attacked in that house, who did it?
We don't know.
We don't know.
We don't know. And it's not for us to know. Somebody other than Karen is responsible for that, for the killing of John.
Yeah. Roberta in the truth zone, mic hitting raw. Spotlight shining, she exposing the flaw. Debunking the myth, breaking their facade. This is Glass City, respect the squad. On these NYC blocks where the skyline flex big. Roberta Glass slicing lies with a truth rig. Innocence frosters, your stories unravel. She's a map through the madness of gritty gravel. Glass don't bend and facts don't break. She's a storm that's called, you feel the quake. Exposing tales stitched with crooked seams. Justice in the lens, shattered fake dreams. Screams about killers, painted heroes in disguise. She burning propaganda with fire in her eyes. No glamour for the guilty, she call it straight. She backs victims, the voice stay awake. Stats and receipts, no spin, no clutter. Cold cases whisper, she cuts through the mutter. Truth's her tempo, don't confuse the beat. She's standing for the real while you taking a seat. True crime's a block, facts the artillery. Spinning those lies, yo, she checks that misery. Tabloid tales get smashed, no time to play. She's glass hard, break the false and save the day. True crime's a block, facts the artillery. Spinning those lies, yo, she checks that misery. Tabloid tales get smashed, no time.
Okay, here we go. What a day it was in court for the Commonwealth. Ironman Yuri Bukhenik, the sergeant who worked this case, returned to the stand, and I call him Ironman because he's just he's unimpeachable on the stand. He's so strong. He's such a strong witness that I like to call him Ironman Bukhenik. That's how I think of him. I think of him, he's physically very broad-shouldered. It almost looks like a cartoon character in a good way. And comes on the stand, and he's a great witness. I thought he was a great witness in the first trial, one of the best witnesses, and he came back again to be, again, one of the best witnesses. So we'll talk all about his testimony today. Hello, hey, Jude. Hello, July Sweet Breeze, Barb Nauman, Rockstar 60, Psych and Crime, JMS. Hello, hello, hello. I'm also giving away Patreon subscription to my Patreon, 1 month subscription. So in this episode, and also it's going to continue on. So I have 5 to give away thanks to Tammy. It was so nice to donate them. So they will be randomly chosen. Maestro was nice enough to make me a randomizer. So let's talk about Yuri Bukhenik. So many things were amazing about this testimony. For one, we heard about testimony we haven't heard before. I'll get into that in a second. That blew my mind. At least I didn't remember it from last trial. I mean, this trial has you scratching your head going, did I hear that before? Or did I miss that last year? And I may have missed it, but this was all new as far as Karen Reed's own, again, self-incriminating statements and getting caught in lie after lie. Here's a new lie to talk about. Also, we saw John O'Keefe's clothes were presented to the jury, his shoe. There's been a bizarre conspiracy theory that this is a new shoe. But let me just show you how the evidence was presented last time as opposed to this time. So we saw his shirt, the grass stains on his pants. It's just very emotional and sad. And I think it filled my audience with sadness just to see the state of John O'Keefe's clothing without even seeing, we know the state of his body. It just brings to mind just the absolute cruelty of this crime. So we can see here, this is how it was presented last year, where that's Sergeant Bukhenik, Ironman. There he is, Ironman with his gloves. Took them out and had them and used his hands. This time, John O'Keefe's shirt was behind plexiglass. So that'll give you a little bit of a difference. Also, maybe I'll wait on that. Also, we heard about Karen Reed's own statements, and he drove to Denton and he sees her car, he sees her smashed taillight, and then he talks to Karen. And this is what Karen Reed had to say about what happened to John. She's at her parents' house, so she moved her car from John. She wasn't supposed to be at John's house without him. She snuck into his home, then collected Carrie Roberts and Jen McCabe to discover him. She knew exactly where he was. I keep hearing things like, oh, she woke up so drunk she didn't know what she did the night, but she knew right where to go. She knew right where he was. She knew she hit him. She knew what happened with her taillight. She knew enough to make her own alibi with a cover-up at 5:07, backing into John O'Keefe's car on the Ring camera. Strangely, we're going to hear, speaking of Ring camera, we're going to hear from the Ring camera people next week. And I think what they're going to say, wouldn't it be great if they had the deleted Ring camera footage? I don't think so. I don't think we're going to see that. However, they might have records of her deletions or when it was deleted or who deleted it. Was it the Commonwealth, as Karen Reed says? Or who has more incentive, says Karen Reed? I say you, Karen Reed, facing 20 years plus in prison. I say you have the incentive to delete the Ring camera video of you pulling in that night into John O'Keefe's driveway and garage with a busted, smashed to smithereens taillight. So this is sped up just a little bit because Ironman does speak very slowly. But here he is describing the conversation between Karen Reed and himself. And he's also, and with Michael Proctor, who the defense really went after. That's all they have. I thought it was a pathetic cross, not a particularly effective cross. But we'll see.
All right, so
here it is.
Appropriate for me to give an instruction right now, Mr. Brennan?
Oh, before he could talk about what Karen Reed said, I wanted you to hear this instruction. This is why I left it here. This is an instruction I've never heard a judge give before, but this is what defense attorneys have done to our justice system, changed it. So anytime you hear a statement, now you have to hear a statement. The jurors are the finders of fact. Isn't it obvious that they decide whether they're going to believe this or not? But they have to be reminded in Massachusetts. Take a listen to this.
I would defer to counsel.
Mr. Jackson, you want me to give a humane practice instruction?
Yes.
Yes. All right. So, folks, you're about to hear testimony regarding a statement or statements that were allegedly made by or attributed to Ms. Reed. I'm going to instruct you in more detail at the end of the case about this matter. However, I want you to understand that at this time, as the statements are offered into evidence, that before you may consider the content of any such statement made by the defendant as evidence, you're going to have to make a preliminary determination about whether or not it can be considered by you as evidence at all. In your determination at the end of the case, you're not to consider any such statement by the defendant as evidence, even though it's presented to you through a witness at trial, unless from all the evidence in the case, you first determine that the Commonwealth has proved beyond a reasonable doubt that Ms. Reed made the statements she's alleged to have made, and that she made it voluntarily, freely, and rationally. All right, go ahead, Mr. Brennan.
Thank you, Your Honor.
I mean, how is the Commonwealth going to prove she made these statements? That means, like, do you believe Yuri Bukhenik's testimony? Right? I mean, how else would they determine whether she made these statements? And that's how they evaluate any witness anyway. You either believe him or you don't. I don't believe that she said that to the police officer. It's not consistent with all the other tapes we've seen of her lying. I don't know. I think this is also a great example of why the footage from these interviews, TV shows that Karen Read has chosen to do have been so effective, is because you don't have to believe Yuri Bukhenik. Is it consistent with all of Karen Read's other statements that she's made on film? I would say yes, but I would never be a juror on this case. I'm way too set in my opinion now. So, and I wouldn't want to be a juror. But here, take a listen to what she told Yuri Bukhenik.
Sir, I want you to begin from when you were in the living room, your beginning conversation with the defendant, the presence of both her father and mother. You're with Mr. Proctor. Can you share with us the conversation that you had with the defendant?
Yes. She stated that she's willing to answer our questions, but she didn't want to go into too many details. That's how the conversation began. She provided us the fact that Mr. O'Keefe was hanging out with a friend of his at 5 p.m. at the One Meadows Ave residence, following which he proceeded to C.F. McCarthy's in Canton, where the defendant stated that she met him approximately at 9 p.m. She was drinking vodka sodas. Mr. O'Keefe was consuming Bud Light beer. After the C.F. McCarthy's, they proceeded to the Waterfall Grill and Bar. At this point, the defendant was asked if she brought a beverage with her from C.F. McCarthy's to the Waterfall establishment, to which she stated she didn't think so. After the Waterfall, the defendant stated that she dropped Mr. O'Keefe off at 34 Fairview. She was asked if she saw him go in the house. She stated no, she did not see him go in the house. She was asked about the damage to her rear.
So this is going to be really effective when Hank Brennan plays Karen Read saying, I saw him go in the front door. Then another clip, I saw him go in the side door. Now she didn't see him go in at all.
Taillight, to which she stated, quote, I don't know how I did it last night, end quote.
Last night, not in the morning. Not in the morning, not at 5:07 in the morning, last night.
Once she provided us with the fact that she dropped him off and never saw him go in the house, she was asked to provide details about her leaving. She stated that she made a 3-point turn and left. She was asked to provide some explanation of how Mr. O'Keefe sustained those injuries that he had. She did not.
Let me stop you there. Did you get an answer to your question about how he sustained the injuries or the details about the 3-point turn?
No, I did not.
You mentioned that when you were at Good Samaritan Hospital, you saw blood on the back of Mr. O'Keefe's head.
Yes.
Did you ask the defendant anything about that injury?
Yes. We asked about the injuries that Mr. O'Keefe had, that he had been displaying, and whether or not he had those injuries the night prior at either McCarthy's or Waterfall, to which the defendant stated she didn't see any injuries on him. But then she provided a statement saying that Mr. O'Keefe bumped his head 2 nights prior and asked her about it, which to me seemed kind of strange. But
without the commentary,
he bumped his head 2 days prior. My friend had a theory about this. Anytime someone says that starts making excuses for these injuries, these unlikely injuries, these odd bad luck injuries at the time of a crime, raise an eyebrow. Certainly that's a good time. I mean, 2 days before, this is a skull fracture. He's telling her about she's calling it a bump on the head, and he got it 2 days before. Thought this was particularly damning. And that's one damning clip played today. I mean, there's so much to go over. Some of this I will go over this weekend. There's too much. It was too meaty a testimony to go over all of the meaningful testimony tonight, but I will go over the stuff that really made an impression on me, or the biggest impressions on me today. So we also go, he says he sees large pieces. Right before this, he said, I saw large pieces of her taillight missing. And then what I thought was pretty genius is that Hank Brennan dealt with Proctor's text messages. I mean, how is he going to deal with Proctor? This has been the question I was going to ask. Well, by having Yuri Bukhenik read some of the text messages out loud. And here we had Ironman Yuri. Now, if the Commonwealth doesn't call Proctor to the stand, the defense can take Proctor as their witness. However, you are limited in what you can ask. You're much more free to ask leading questions, etc. on cross. Opens up the scope of what you can ask if you're cross-examining someone than what you can ask in direct. So they may take him as their witness. I mean, it feels like they have to. I mean, they're getting slaughtered. They're getting slaughtered every day in court. Also, her father gave a curious interview. We'll look at that too, where he talks about her taillight. But here's Yuri Bukhenik talking about Michael Proctor's text, and he was on this text, this group chat, and he acknowledged the chat, and because he acknowledged he was on this, and he, I guess, didn't report Proctor. I don't know exactly what the ruling was on, but he lost 5 days of vacation because of this. So, and Michael Proctor lost his job in addition for making these what would be considered mean text messages about Karen Reed, not being professional, and also drinking and driving on the job. Those two things lost him his job.
Yeah, stand here. Sure. So I'm going to ask you to take a look at that document. And if you turn the page, does it begin to, one more page, please. Does it begin to reflect the email chain?
Yes, it does.
Do you remember this email chain?
I remember seeing it when I reviewed it. I don't remember the intricate details of these messages.
Do you remember that photograph?
I don't.
Okay, you turn the page. Is there text?
Yes, there is.
Without citing the phone numbers, I'd like you to cite the author of the text, and I'd like you to read the text to the jury.
Do you want me to date it in time? I know.
Sure.
August 17th, 2022, 9:44 p.m., 25 seconds. Funny, I am going through his retarded client's phone.
I'd like you to read all of them, please.
Next one, no nudes so far. I hate that man. I truly hate him.
Hey, can you give the author for each comment? And can you start again, because I want us to understand.
I'm sorry, can you repeat that?
The author, whoever makes the comment, I'd like to have the name of the author.
So this was a time when it really impressed me and how quick Hank Brennan was to make accommodations and think on his feet here. So here's a document he handed. It has the phone number, but it doesn't have who's saying what. And look how quickly he recovers from this. This would send another lawyer spiraling. to check out this.
I'm sorry, this document does not identify who the author is, sir.
Yes.
It identifies this as your phone,
That is, yes.
but each comment doesn't identify who sent it.
No, it does not. I assume it's an extraction from one device, but
I see. If you made any of the comments yourself, would you tell us?
if I made those comments,
No, if you make any of them in here as you read them, will you point out if you?
absolutely, absolutely, yes.
Okay. And if you don't know who made the comment, can you just identify that for us as you read it so we know?
Okay, do you want me to continue the next page?
Why don't we start over because I
Okay.
should have been more clear in my direction. Could you begin again?
So in the beginning, it says,
It's not that he's handing him a piece of paper. It's, to me, it seemed like he didn't look it over clearly enough to see that it was confusing to someone who doesn't know the phone numbers. He's like, I wasn't clear enough in my direction, so let's start again. I mean, it's just a brilliant thinking on your feet there.
funny, I am going through his retarded client's phone.
Is that your comment?
No, it is not.
Okay, next.
It appears to be the same person because of the way that the extraction happens, and it says no nudes so far. Again, this, I believe it's the same person because all of these are identified as sent. It says, I hate that man. I truly hate him.
Do you have any belief that's Michael Proctor who is writing these?
Yes, I believe
Okay.
that is.
Next, please.
There's a blank page, and that's the end. Yes, sir.
Did you say you were suspended 5 days or lost 5 days vacation?
Lost 5 days of vacation.
And have you continued on your cases?
Yes, I have.
I want to go back to the evidence that you reviewed in this case.
Okay.
So here's Hank Brennan taking the sting out of it and taking out the element of surprise, which is a really key element in shocking or offending the jury. He's bringing it up. Lally did the same thing last year, but he had him read everything. She's a whack job. See you next Tuesday. This is just a very short section of it. So I don't know what the defense is going to do with Proctor. I think they have to call him. And that's going to be just an epic cross-examination by Hank Brennan. Then all the stuff that Proctor saw comes out. And he's not a bad witness. And now he's really angry because he's lost his job. So he'll be gunning for Karen Reed. It's a dilemma. What are they going to do? You know, I think who was this last night? Last night's live stream? I think it was Taterbug was saying, maybe it was someone else saying, well, I think that, and I was thinking the same thing. Is the defense even going to put on a case? I think Karen Reed is going to want to, even if there's been rumors that Richard Green, the forensic expert, I call him McNasty Green because he got arrested at McNasty's bar. Apparently someone was telling me, I haven't looked into it myself, so I'll just take this with a grain of salt, that he was caught lying in another case on the stand. But he was in a bar drinking. It's a criminal record. And put his hands on the waitress. And then two guys were like, hey, hey. And then he fell off his stool and accused the two guys of being like, hey, hey, protecting the waitress. He accused those two guys of punching him and landing him on the floor. And when it turned out to be a lie, he had to plead out. So I thought that was a pretty clever way to deal with Proctor. Really limit what the jury hears that he wrote. Now, I don't think this will be the end of it. I think the defense are going to try to capitalize on she's a whack job, see you next Tuesday, and all the mean things he said about her. As I've said before, if I killed a police officer in this way, left him to die in a blizzard in Massachusetts, 7th worst storm ever, I would expect a fellow police officer to call me and see you next Tuesday. I would expect it. It doesn't even seem to bother Karen Reed. Karen Reed's also used that kind of language. So Alan Jackson can clutch pearls about that, but I think it's kind of, it's really all they have at this point. I mean, she's getting demolished every day. It's like it does not mean she's going to get convicted. I don't know who the jurors are. I don't know, make no mistake. I'm not, if it's a fair-minded jury that hasn't been touched by this innocence fraud campaign, which I think is near impossible. So we have that. But I think she's getting demolished. I thought she was guilty last year, so maybe I'm not the best person to look at it. But there's another part where he goes through all the pieces of taillight. Let's take a look at that. All the little pieces of Karen Reed's taillight. Here you go.
Photographs. Then one of the members of the individuals present would bag each item into a paper bag.
When they were bagged, were the person bagging them use any type of protection like you're using?
Absolutely, every time.
After the items were bagged, was the bag sealed?
Eventually it was sealed, yes.
When you say eventually, what does that mean?
Once it was, all the items were inside and it was brought back to the office, it would be sealed, signed, completely filled out with all the pertinent information on the back.
Could you open that bag?
Yes, sir.
Please hit the thumbs up, guys, if you're listening. Let's get that let's help the algorithm. Share this episode, subscribe, support this stream. Send me a super chat. You can donate via Venmo, buy me a coffee, all really good ways to support the channel. Or you can become a Patreon member. I want to thank Amy Gill for becoming a Patreon member. Also, I think I have some people to thank. 1 second. I want to thank Jen Buell, Anna Quint, Patricia Sullivan. Also, I want to thank Barbara Danforth for buying me a coffee. Someone very generously donated on Buy Me a Coffee, and Marie Horton. So thank you very much. Links are in the description of this episode.
Before you take the pieces out, I'm asking you to look in. Do you recognize those pieces?
Yes, I do.
What do you recognize them to be?
I recognize them to be the items that we recovered from the lawn area on the left side of 34 Fairview Road on February 3rd, 2022, during the planned excavation of the property.
And were they photographed before they were put in that bag?
They were.
Right. I mean, and also Yuri Bukhenik, Ironman, got to defend his investigation many times in cross and in direct. How hard they worked. I mean, there's one part where he's talking about, is he going to the scene where they're using the trees? Like the weather was so bad that they were using the trees to guide their route. Also, fascinating part where he listened to Karen Reed's own statements on 2020 and all the interviews she gave with Gretchen Voss. He was following all those and making it a case and following that. I thought that was curious.
Joan, may I approach before Trooper Bukhenik
Yes.
opens that bag or goes through it?
show Mr. Jackson?
So we went through Yuri Bukhenik's background. He is a former Marine who worked as, high up in the ranks of the Marines in special operations in the helicopter detail of the president, or the security detail of the president, and then retired. And then he grew up in this area, came home from California to this area to be a police officer, and worked his way up the ranks in the police. So Eva says, Hank's closing, this is an innocence fraud campaign. We haven't seen much actually about the harassment campaign. I'm surprised. Also, we learned, in addition to the Ring camera footage, we are going to have John O'Keefe's niece and nephew are going to testify. So I'm really looking forward to that. We won't hear it or see it, but we will hear about it reported from those in the courtroom. That would be a great day to be in the courtroom for that. I would love to be in the courtroom for that. Really fascinating testimony. We heard some of the audio leaked out last time, but it's damning. What those kids say is that Karen Reed was very quick to anger. They felt like they were walking on eggshells, that John O'Keefe and Karen Reed fought all the time, that she would get mad for the weirdest things. If she thought you weren't grateful enough, she would be very angry with you. I think in light of the way that this trial is going, I think it's going to be, it was damaging last time. I think it's going to be very damaging this time.
I do recognize him.
And what is in those photographs?
The photographs depict items collected from the lawn at 34 Fairview on February 3rd, 2022.
Do those particular photographs correspond with the pieces of items that are in that bag?
They do.
I moved this series of photographs in minutes.
No objection. Okay. We'll mark them separately, please.
Eventually sent for analysis to a Massachusetts State Police lab.
Yes, they were.
When the laboratory receives those items, are you familiar whether they mark them with a label or a number for identification?
Yes, they mark each item individually.
Do those items have markings on them reflected by an item number?
Yes, they are.
When you refer to a piece, will you refer to that item number that is on any individual piece?
Once it's labeled, it is identified by that individual piece, by that designated label.
So if there's any numbers written on any of those pieces, was that written by you?
No.
Would that have been written by somebody else after it was sent?
Yes, at the lab.
Okay. If we can begin, if you can begin to take the pieces out so we can show them to the jury. And does that have a number on it or a tag?
Yes, it does. This is item 22-0.
That's Karen. What is the jury thinking? It's Karen Reed's giant piece of her taillight. There it is.
To 1847-8, also alphanumeric A.
May I approach, Your Honor?
Yes.
Okay, so if you don't like a giant white piece of Karen Reed's taillight, here's a big piece of red smashed to smithereens taillight. I can't even imagine what the jury's thinking. I think they must be thinking, why are we here? Why are we seeing this many witnesses for this case? This is such an open and shut case.
These two are taped together.
When you found them, were they taped together?
Wait, those are all from the crime scene?
Those are all from the crows.
Holy.
It's my boyfriend. It's like, hey, honey, come check this out. Come look. I mean, he was like a Karen Reed supporter. He was like telling me it was a dog bite. Go back to my early episodes. We used to argue. He's like, no way. No way. What are they thinking?
No.
Look at this.
They're taped together by the lab.
Or is this some of this is the cocktail glass and not the taillight? So they also found the straw from the cocktail glass that Karen Reed has said was her cocktail glass. I've always thought it was her cocktail glass that John O'Keefe was carrying into the home that night. And they found the straw, black straw too. And it's very significant that he was hit out of his shoe. So literally when people are hit by cars, they're literally hit out of their shoes or shoe. In this case, it's shoe. And they found one Nike black sneaker that he's shown. Now, of course, the Free Karen Reader saying they're showing, I mean, they're such conspiracy theorists. They're just, going into the minutia and saying it's the wrong shoe or it's a different shoe than we saw last time. No, it's the same shoe we saw last time.
There's also a canister labeled debris collection. That number is 22-021847-8.1. This is 7-8G. This is 7-8N as in November. There are also items too small to label with a letter and number. Those were put into a bag like this. Almost looks like a stamp bag, wax stamp bag.
Are those all the items in that bag?
Altogether, there are, it does look like those are all the items. Some of them are inside the canister that I pulled up.
Understood. You want to move those items into evidence, please? So you mentioned that there was a trooper there photographing the evidence.
Yes, sir.
Did the photographer take a photograph of the items in place when they were found, or were the items moved to a different location before they were photographed?
That day, every item was photographed where it was found.
With the court's permission, I'd like to show a number of exhibits to the jury. Okay. Starting with Exhibit 89, which is P490-7690. Trooper, is that one of the items you found that morning?
Yes, it is.
Do you know where, in relation to the fire hydrant or the flagpole, this item was recovered?
It was in the general vicinity between the flagpole and the fire hydrant, the area we were...
Right, where Karen Reed's car was last seen, strangely. So, the Free Karen Readers will say, like, oh, he was thrown too far. I mean, you can get thrown pretty far by a car. Going 24 miles an hour in reverse, you can... And I think what they're going to say is that this is where I think they're going, Hank Brennan, because when he had the jury look at the car, he had them look specifically at the spoiler top of the car where it sticks out. And I think that's where they're going to say the head injury came from, not from the hitting the hard ground. And we're going to have a neurosurgeon come in who deals with these kinds of brain injuries that John O'Keefe sustained from Karen Reed's reversing into him 24 miles an hour in reverse with her foot 75% down on the gas pedal. She moved her wheel, turned her wheel into him before her car had a vent. You know, we haven't seen the car data yet, really. And I don't know if that's something, you know, I think we've all been talking about and expecting. I don't know if I don't know how much was recovered or how much we're going to see of that.
Excavating was approximately 40 to 50 square feet in area.
Mr. Brennan, can that be expanded, please?
Thank you, Erin. Is the item that you recovered on top of that leaf?
Yes, it is.
Okay. If I can next show Exhibit 90, which is P492, 7692. Before we close up, sir, is that the fire hydrant that is at the corner of 34 Fairview Road?
Yes, it is.
Could we close up, please, on that? Why is there a ruler on the ground?
The ruler is utilized to help put the item to scale by the photographer from Crime Scene Services. They utilize these measuring rulers for scale of the item that you're looking at. Sometimes it's hard to depict how large an item is if there's no reference point.
Could we do a little bit further view to show the fire hydrant? Thank you. Is that where this piece of evidence was found, in that exact location?
Yes, sir.
Thank you. I'd like next to show to the jury Exhibit 91, which is P515-7721. Do you recognize that piece of evidence?
Yes, sir.
Could we zoom in, please?
So
the same piece of evidence that is depicted in Exhibit 8.
that'll give you just a little bit of a taste of what we saw. We also saw, actually, I'm going to take a quick break. When we get back from the break, we're going to, thanks, Jenny, for the super sticker. I'm going to be giving away another Patreon subscription. Anybody who's won, contact me. My email address is always in the about section of my YouTube, but it's robertaglass23@gmail.com. Just write me so I can set it up. Thank you, Tammy, for doing that. I'm going to take a quick break and I will be right back. Don't go anywhere. We're going to look at Karen Reed's drinking, also memorialized by Ironman Bukhenik. When we get back, also, we're going to look at his cross-examination by No Traction Alan Jackson. Don't go anywhere.
Mic check, Roberta strides through the static haze. True crime Gotham where the shadows play their plays. Fraudsters fold when a spotlight beams. Fact-focused queen busting propaganda schemes. Glass shatter lies echoes through the streets. Standing for victims, giving voice their beats. NYC Post, truth sharp as night. Roberta exposing she's the anti-fraud light. Hard cash warrior, dissecting state and defense, twisting innocence, claims breaking pretense. Gotham's truth seeker cuts clean with the blade. Facts in the forefront, no justice gets swayed. Cold facts drip heavy, real talk unfurls. Cracking cases open like oysters with pearls. Innocence gimmicks crumble to dust in the wind. For victims, her creed, justice till the end. Headphones blazing, she drops heavy artillery. Narratives twisted, meet blunt object civility. Roberta got receipts that unravel the ploy, exposing the lies these fraudsters deploy. Glass shatters lies, echoes through the streets. Standing for victims, giving voice their beats. NYC Post, truth sharp as night. Roberta exposing she's the anti-fraud light.
Okay. Pulling up the randomizer. Megan Dawson. You are a winner. Get in touch with me, Megan. You've won a 1-month subscription to my Patreon account. Lots of content on there that you won't get anywhere. Thank you, Tammy, for making that possible. Hold on one second. So here we go. Back to, I just wanted to show you, before we get into his cross-examination, how Yuri Bukhenik memorialized Karen Reed's drinking that night. Let's see. Okay. 1 second.
Accurate to the real time.
Ms. Gilman, could you begin at 10:54, please?
Here we see the defendant and Mr. O'Keefe walk into the bar and see their friends and engage in hugs and greetings.
We'll let the waterfall bar videos play.
I'm sorry, sir?
We'll let the waterfall video bars play. We'll just let them play.
Okay.
$11.46, please.
Yeah, not the greatest video, but you can see that when they enter, they split off into two directions.
12:06, please. $12:07. $12:10, please. Did you see the last person walk out the door on that video clip?
Yes, I did.
And did you identify who that is?
Yes, it's Mr. John O'Keefe. He's wearing the two-tone gray sweatshirt with his sleeves pulled up towards the elbows.
Is that the same clothing that you found at Good-Samaritan Hospital when you went to visit?
Yes, it is.
The baseball hat, did you have an opportunity to look at the hat he was wearing?
Yes, I did.
Is that consistent with the hat that you and the group found on February 3rd, 2010?
Yes, it is.
Right. And his hat is also, I mean, just found buried, it's just so naturally in the snow. I mean, it's really hard to believe that they were planning any of this. And, you'll see when we get into the cross, it's Proctor, Proctor, Proctor. It's all they can talk about. But are they going to blame every piece of evidence? Is Proctor manipulate the phone data? Did he, when does he have a time? And one of the time to plant these pieces of taillight, and one of the things that Ironman Yuri Bukhenik says in his testimony, all throughout his testimony, is that Michael Proctor was with me all day. And the CERT team, so when Yuri Bukhenik and Michael Proctor were taking Karen Reed's car to the Sallyport, the CERT team had already arrived and was finding the pieces of taillight. There was no time to plant taillight. It's just not possible. It's not like they thought up a theory using the evidence that could be possible, not plausible, but possible. It's not possible. Their theory is not possible. Their conspiracy theory on this case is not possible. Now, I would love to be a fly on the wall in jury deliberations and hear what they say. When we heard from Ronnie, the EMT, he was doing all sorts of weird victim blaming, saying, well, Karen wanted to get something to eat and John wanted to keep drinking. That's why he wanted to go be with his friends. And now that we know it's Karen's glass that he was carrying, how do we know that Karen, when she wanted to go to the pizza parlor, that she wasn't going to continue drinking then? Seems like if you look at those text messages, it's Karen always pushing to drink. And John saying, John O'Keefe saying, you're jonesing to drink, so just drink, go. He's drinking Bud Lights and she's drinking shots, vodka sodas with shots in them. And they're saying John, had the problem with alcohol. A lot of victim blaming going on in this case.
The pants?
Yes, it is.
And approach, Your Honor.
Yes.
Showing you Exhibit 108C. It's already introduced the evidence. You studied that photo. Do you notice anything in Mr. O'Keefe's hand?
Yes, in his right hand, he's holding a short style cocktail glass with black drinking straw protruding from it as it is backdropped on the snow on the hood of the car that's parked outside.
Can we show 108C, please? Ms. Gilman, could you focus the best you can on the drink? Is that the photo you looked at?
Yes, it is.
Can you point out or explain where you see the drinking straw?
Absolutely. Right there to the right of the red indicator, you could see the straw protruding out of the glass Mr. O'Keefe is holding in his right hand.
Thank you. You can take that down, Ms. Gilman.
I'm going to allow it.
You can take that down, Ms. Gilman. Thank you. One last matter, Trooper Bukhenik. In 2024, did you obtain ring video for that time period in 2024 from Mr. O'Keefe's home?
Yes, I did.
Did you provide that ring video to a person who works for a company by the name of Aperture?
Yes, we did.
And just very basically, do you know what Aperture does?
Yes, I do.
What do they do?
They assist in scientific fashion to reconstruct, test, and evaluate, analyze vehicle-involved crashes and deaths.
Is Aperture part of the Mass State Police team?
They are not.
Are they a private company?
Yes, they are.
May I approach?
Yes.
Handing in the item to you, do you recognize it?
Yes, I do.
What is it?
It's a ring video from 2024.
So what location?
Meadows Ave.
So we're going to go through the love tap. And also we're going to see Nathan, Karen Reed's brother, wipe off the back of the car, but leaving the the snow over the smashed taillight. Oh, wait. Are we already in cross? Did I already pass it? Hold on, guys. Let me look at my list. Did I go too far? I made a list of all these times. Okay, here we go. Here's where he's memorializing. I went too far. Here's where he's memorializing her drinking. Here we go. I apologize.
What did that show, sir?
It showed the defendant receiving her first tall vase, cylindrical style cocktail glass with a lime in it and a straw to go along with it.
927, please.
And we'll go back to her car videos. We'll go back to the Nathan videos. It never gets old. It's also in my closing. If you've ever looked at the video of my closing, I have Nathan clearing the back of the car, but not clearing the broken taillight. Put that in there. Wow, odd body language. Right? When she moves forward, he moves back.
And what was depicted in that video that you saw?
In that video, we see the defendant get handed her second cylindrical tall style cocktail glass while she finished the first one and then picked up the second one.
When you've made a relevant observation.
I mean, just so fast. I mean, she's just moving through these drinks so quickly. And they don't seem to touch the sides with her. That's what's so amazing, is that we know that she was so drunk that morning. She was past the legal limit for drinking that morning. And no one said she was so drunk. She seemed drunk. They said she was acting upset and hysterical, but not drunk. And these are police officers trained to look for that kind of thing. It just doesn't seem to touch her, this alcohol.
Video, please interject and stop so you can point out for us what you've seen.
Absolutely, sir.
Okay. Next, please, 930.
There's like one voicemail where she leaves him where she does sound a little drunk, where she's like calling him a P word. Reminds me of Sherbert, I guess. She sounds a little drunk, but other than that, it's like amazing Wonder Woman drinker. I mean that makes it sound positive. I don't mean to make it sound positive. It just doesn't seem to touch the sides with her.
Here, the defendant is handed a shot.
Stop, please. Okay.
Yes, she does. My King of Kings has a high tolerance for sure.
Play it and you'll have to speak as you're watching it. It doesn't look like it can be stopped. Sorry, Ms. Gill.
She's handed a shot by the bartender on the left side of the screen.
Do you remember last year when we went through like the bill? The bill was presented, and it was done like this, but not quite as tightly and well presented.
Picks it up and puts it into her second cocktail glass, making it a third beverage of alcohol content that she's consuming.
All right. Let me speed this up a little bit. I'm just like fascinated watching just the body language. See if I can speed this up. We can move through this, but you can kind of get a picture. I mean, don't you want to just go through the screen and tell them, don't go home with her, or go to 34 Fairview, go with someone else, leave her. That's how I feel watching this. Just want to tell John O'Keefe, get away from Karen Reed. Get away from that psychopathic murderer. So this all memorializes Karen Reed's weak pours. The drinks are so weak here. You notice no one else is complaining. No one else has come forward and said, I had drinks that night. They were so weak. You know what she means? I had to buy shots all night too and pour them into my drinks, drinking them one after another really quickly. Here. See, when like she leans in on him, he's like still. We never see John O'Keefe leaning into her.
So right there, we observed Mr. O'Keefe retrieve his phone from his rear left jean pocket, and he put it back.
Right, the banality of evil that we're looking at. Karen Reed. And just, when John O'Keefe's clothes were shown tonight, or today, excuse me, not a hint of sadness on her face.
Now the defendant picks up her.
Looks like she could be watching an episode of Friends. Anything. I mean, just absolutely no expression, no hint of sadness, no weeping. I mean, the rest of us would probably turn ourselves in and plead guilty. But Karen Reed's going to fight it, be defiant, blame innocent people, say she has basically, just show in every way that, I've always felt that Karen Reed was torn between really wanting to confess and being really proud of her murder of John O'Keefe and wanting to lie to not face the consequences. So we have this strange confession. I hit him. And then mixed with these like bizarre stories. He hit his head the day before. I dropped him he walked in the front door. He walked in the side door.
Second cocktail glass with the added shot in it and consumed it.
See the next video, please. This is now 9:45 p.m.
Yes, sir. So the bartender hands over another cocktail glass and some beers. The shot goes into the empty one after it's poured into the new cocktail glass. So that's drink number 4.
Does it also depict Mr. O'Keefe putting his cell phone in his back pocket again?
Yes.
By 9:45, how many drinks have been served to the defendant?
4 drinks.
4 drinks between 9:10 and 9:45.
That's correct. In 35 minutes, 4 drinks.
Could we proceed to the next screen, please? 10:09 p.m.
Here, the defendant speaks with the bartender and gestures that she wants a shot.
The objection sustained. I'll strike that.
It's like
Mr. O'Keefe on his cell phone again?
Yes.
we don't know what that gesture means. We don't know what that gesture means when she's suddenly being served a shot. So the jury can't hear that, that's his interpretation. They object. The defense just objected to that. If you didn't catch that. Ironman saying that she was gesturing for a shot, then gets a shot strangely and pours it into her other glass.
Yes, he is.
Think, right?
And he puts it in his back pocket. The defendant is showing Mr. O'Keefe the middle finger, and then
Yeah, did you see that? I don't remember seeing that before. Did we see that last time, guys? I'll wait for those that watched the trial last time. Did you remember the middle finger? I remember her very aggressively getting in his face, but I don't remember the quality being this good last time. Maybe. No, we didn't see this. Okay, thank you.
puts beverages on the bar.
You think the defense got that out last time? Or I don't know. Karen wildly gesturing with her hands, gesticulating, as Alan Jackson, no Traxon Jackson would say.
Should I proceed, Your Honor?
Yes.
What is the drink count at that point?
At that point, it's 4 drinks.
Could we have the next?
Mr. O'Keefe brings over a couple of beverages. The defendant retrieves the cocktail glass. A shot glass is picked up by one of the patrons, and the defendant retrieves it from him and places it back on the bar. The defendant is consuming the beverage in her hand, places it on the bar.
I mean, that's like the first real sign of affection. He rubs her back. I've seen. Like,
And then
What time are we at now?
that was 10:34, so we're moving 10:37.
What is the drink count at 10:34?
That is 5 drinks at that point.
Can we play 10:37, please?
The bartender makes 4 shots, top left corner. She's seen preparing the 4 shot glasses. 2 are on the bar top now. She retrieves 2 more.
1041, please.
Here, those 4 shot glasses are redistributed. Pours it into her drink. She does not consume it from the shot glass.
Yeah, I'm thinking the same thing. Those are like the worst extensions. I don't know. I'm thinking the same thing.
Thank you, sir. I'll strike that.
Oh, this is making me feel sick to my stomach. I'm just not a drinker. I don't like it. I would not be standing at this point. How is Karen Reed standing? She's so small. I guess she has a tolerance, incredible tolerance.
Next video, please.
Now, as Mr. O'Keefe and the defendant are getting ready to leave, the defendant's holding the drink in her left hand, continues to sip on it. And the two walk out of the bar without the beverage in their hand being deposited anywhere.
Notice Karen barely says goodbye to anyone. It's John O'Keefe saying goodbye to everyone. Karen's just on to the next bar. It's always all about Karen.
At 10:53,
Always all about herself.
For the defendant at this point.
7.
Next slide. And is
So
this-
I'm going to actually see counsel because on this.
Anyway, sidebar, you get an idea. Before I get into the cross, I want to go back and look at just the crazy videos of her car that we looked at. So, of course, her taillight you can see her taillight's broken on the welfare check for the kids. This is at Wood Meadows, where John O'Keefe lived. And then we saw her backing up her car. I guess they just taking the wind out of the sails. This is the condition of the car in the Sally port.
Was seized and later processed. It's currently in the Cam Sally port, I believe.
Can we close up on the right rear taillight, please? Do you notice anything about that right rear taillight?
Yes.
What do you notice?
It's missing a large red portion of the lens.
Is that consistent or inconsistent with the damage that you saw when you first saw that car?
That is 100% consistent.
Did you get an opportunity to see any video or photographs of that right rear taillight before the car was placed in the Sallyport video?
Yes.
Did you view the ring video from Mr. O'Keefe's Meadows Ave address?
Yes.
If we could go back to video 153 from Exhibit 6. If you could play this, please. Did you have a chance?
I mean, so how many different ways are you going to say that
5:58 a.m.
her taillight was busted and she didn't do it this way? So there's no need for her to turn her car into John's car to turn around. She has plenty of room to turn around there, to go all the way back to the fence.
January 29,
Yes, it is.
2007.
Look. She's going to purposely turn her car into his at 5. This happened at 5:07
Do you notice anything about the
a.m. 5:08.
right rear taillight in that video?
Yes.
What do you notice?
It's showing white and is missing the red taillight cover lens.
You zoom back.
So when you looked at early videos of this, it looked very red, and they said Ring had a feature that just anytime there's red, it sort of blurred red into it. So it's hard to see, but you can see clearly here, it's a busted taillight right there. Everybody see it?
Back up for a second, please. Could you continue? And I'm going to ask you to stop in a second. Stop, please. Do you notice anything about that still of that video?
Yes, it's consistent with its appearance of missing that red taillight lens.
If you could play the vehicle leaving the driveway, please. Thank you. May I approach, Your Honor?
Yes.
Yes, I do.
What is it?
It's a still frame from the ring footage taken of the video we just watched.
Okay, so that'll give you an idea. Here's the way Jackson dealt with it in cross-examination. Take a listen. Here's the beginning of his cross.
DA's personnel within the office and the state police. He also helps facilitate any missions, outstanding tasks that need to be completed.
He obviously had a supervisor, correct?
I'm sorry, can you repeat that?
He obviously had a supervisor, correct?
He did, yes, that would be myself.
That would be you.
Yes.
Every case has some lead trooper.
So he's trying to make Michael Proctor, this is what Alan Jackson is doing, trying to make Michael Proctor the lead detective on the case. And it's a little bit more complicated. What the irony of this is that Karen Reed's defense team has been asked if Alan Jackson is the lead defense attorney. And he says, I don't know if it was Yannetti who answered this way, but he's like, I think it was Jackson who said, we don't define our roles as such. So here he's really trying to just say that Proctor had control over everything and could have just turned all this evidence against Karen Reed. I mean, come on. They want to frame the adjunct finance professor. Why? We don't know, because she's an outsider. That's the defense's reasoning. Hard to buy, but okay. That's all they have.
In your unit, correct? Every case is assigned to someone to sort of be in charge and lead the charge of the investigation. Is that right?
Every case has a case officer that manages the investigation.
Right. And managing the investigation doesn't mean just, like typing up schedules. It means actually managing the investigation, like deciding what search warrants are going to be written in certain circumstances. That's one example, correct?
They're responsible for writing and authoring those search warrants. Sometimes the recommendation, suggestion, or leadership comes from the supervisors or the DA staff, where their experience might dictate otherwise.
And sometimes it comes from the lead case agent himself or herself, correct?
At times, yes.
Every team, even back when you were in the military, you were on many, many teams in the Marine Corps, correct?
I'm sorry, you were speaking, facing away from me. I couldn't hear you.
Every team, including back in the time you were in the military, back in the time you were in the Marine Corps, every team has multiple individuals involved in that team, correct? That's the whole point of a team, multiple people, correct?
I would agree with you that a team consists of more than one person.
And there has to be some sort of echelon of leadership on that team, correct? Everybody's not just an equal, co-equal, correct?
I would agree with you. A team has more than one person. I'd love that answer. I would agree. Just running rings around Alan Jackson, getting very frustrated. Just funny. I mean, this went on for hours, and I found it very boring. I don't know how you guys found it. I'm not going to play too much of it. I didn't think he scored many points. I know other people said he may have scored points. I didn't see him scoring points. I mean, it's hard to score points when Yuri Bukhenik is saying that Proctor was with me all day. I mean, yeah, unless they're going to say Yuri Bukhenik, add him to the conspiracy, which I think they have. It's harder and harder to believe all the time.
Different duties, responsibilities, but some teams have equal rank. Yeah.
But there's going to be a team leader, right? That's a military phrase, team leader.
Yes, there is a team leader in the Marine Corps, in the rifle platoon, but not every team has a leader.
Did the team in this case, in this investigation, have a leader? Someone who was assigned as the lead case agent, not just another officer, not just another detective, but the lead case agent.
The case officer for the investigation was Michael Proctor.
But you don't want to say lead case agent or case officer, correct?
I refer to that billet as case officer.
Your responsibility as the supervisor over this particular case officer or any other case officer that you might have, or any other trooper that you might have under your supervision. Your responsibility in no small part is to supervise the individuals under your command to ensure that the case is adequately investigated, it's properly investigated. That's part of your role as a supervisor, correct?
Is one of my many responsibilities, yes.
It's partly because you have more experience, I'm guessing, than the people under your charge. Is that right?
Certainly in my position, but there are many instances where a sergeant might have less experience than a well-seasoned trooper that's been in the office for 15 to 20 years. So
Fair enough. Fair enough. That may be the case, but under ordinary circumstances, you earn your way into a supervisory role in the Massachusetts State Police through both not just time, but time and experience, correct?
we take an example.
And it went on and on and on like that. But before I go, I'm going to wrap this up. Before I go, I just want to play, as promised, here is the iconic video of Nathan Reed wiping Karen Reed's back of her car and not touching the taillight, back taillight. See, every part must be wiped clean, except don't touch the right rear side where the broken taillight is. They're taking your car from One Meadows to Dighton to whisk away the murder weapon to her parents' home. So her dad had an interesting interview. Last thing before I go. Let's take a listen to it. Where he says that he had coffee and he saw her taillight all busted all that morning. Take a listen. It's after court yesterday.
He and I were talking about the statement last night about the broken taillight. Where exactly did you see it? Did you see it at your house or did you see it at Meadows?
I saw it at both places. So when we left the hospital, Karen wanted to see the children. And so my son drove us to Meadows. I got out of the car, I saw it. And then when I had a cup of coffee and left there, we cleaned off the back and I saw it as right here. And so I know what I saw.
So there was still red left?
Oh, absolutely. I would not have driven that car, all right, in the blizzard conditions that were present that morning, early afternoon, with anything of serious impairment. I just would not have done it. I mean, you know, I was still very active with Bentley University at that time. I could not have ever risked any type of, citation for, reckless or improper driving during those conditions. So I know what I saw.
With no one on the road and with your senior position at Bentley University, you're saying you're not going to risk it driving like that. He is such a liar. He's a liar. He's really a co-conspirator in this case. Helping her to whisk away the murder weapon, getting her sectioned. So I will be back tomorrow at 9 a.m. A little before then. I usually get on about 8:50 for another day of the Karen Reed trial. Thanks so much for everyone for listening. But another just devastating day. And we can talk more about this testimony. It's so meaty. There's so much in it that was damaging for Karen Reed. I just hit the highlights, I thought. I mean, what are you going to say when you see video footage? How many different pictures and then pieces of her taillight, pictures of her busted taillight, her own statements? How much more do you want? And the conspiracy doesn't work. I'm sorry, it doesn't work. Sorry, free Karen readers. It's fun while it lasted, but it's not going to work. All right. Please hit the thumbs up before you go. Subscribe to the channel. Share this episode. Leave me a comment. I do read every single one of your comments, and I'll be back tomorrow at 8:50 in the morning to watch the trial with you. Thanks so much for listening, guys.
I hit my boyfriend with my car. It wasn't an accident, but with lying lawyers I'll go far. Lying lawyers and witness harassment. I'll avoid prison. It was snowing. I pushed the pedal down, hit him hard. Now system I clown. Innocence fraud campaign to save my skin. Making money, truth is my second victim. Carry, Jen, like John, you were my mark. My innocence fraud campaign is my biggest hit. Yeah. I hit my boyfriend with my car. It wasn't an accident, but with lying lawyers I'll go far. Lying lawyers and witness harassment, I'll avoid prison. It was snowing, I pushed the pedal down, hit him hard. Now the legal system I clown.